Today on the Auburn Torch, it's meet day for Auburn Gymnastics. We're getting ready for the Auburn Gymnastics season opener with NC State. We're going to take a look at some potential lineups and get ready for the meet. Let's get into it. First things first, we got to touch on Auburn women's basketball. Last night, that was as rough as it gets. That was as bad as it gets. You can see it for yourself right here. Not a result you want, not a result you want to accept. But you have a first-year coach, so you have reason to believe that things will only improve from there. Larry Vickers, even in his statement from Auburn, just said, got to burn this tape. I don't know. Haven't heard what in there. I don't know if Vic Schaefer didn't want to call off the dogs because or was proving a point because he and Johnny Harris were, Johnny Harris was basically his protege, so I don't know if he was trying to prove a point or what. But not something you can you want to accept or you want to wear. I saw Texas put out a stat that it was their largest margin of victory in conference play basically ever, because it was largest margin of victory in SEC play, and it would have been their largest margin of victory in Big 12 play. So going back to Southwest Conference, I guess. Not what you want. Let's move on to Auburn women's gymnastics, women's artistic gymnastics, starting the season with NC State. We have top eights. If you don't know what top eight is, it's basically the closest we're going to get to a starting lineup. What Auburn likes to do, what Jeff Grable likes to do, is kind of reserve that right to make game time decisions and not release starting lineups. So 8 warm up. If you go to a gymnastics meet, 8 warm up on each event, then they go into the locker room for any final tweaks or adjustments, and then come out for the meet. He likes to reserve his right to name his starters after warm-ups and after watching warm-ups and seeing who's warming up the best and who's doing the best. So top 8 is what you got. These are the ones who are competing for starting spots or in positions for starting spots. And I want to go through these, and then I also want to answer or ask 3 burning questions here at the end. 3 burning questions that that will be answered tonight. So, first, broad scope, looking at it, I put this out on Twitter last night. What you're looking at, or what I'm looking at here, is big meet for Olivia Greaves. Could be in the all-around. She's in all 4 places. Also, Julianne Huff. She is a former 5-star from a couple years ago who's been really strong on vault and done some good work on floor, but could break into the all-around and really reach that status and fulfill some of that potential. She's been a strong piece, but she could really, obviously, we're going to talk about freshmen going in and freshmen get a lot of the hype, but as a veteran, she's one of the people who could really kind of plant a flag and establish herself in this meet. And then you're also looking at, as far as like big picture, I'm looking at Marissa Neal, especially with Kiko Jong out early to start the season, and we can Mark on the Substack asked a question in our comments this morning if Kiko's coming back, and I put it on Twitter. Yes, she is. They expect her back mid-season. My understanding, or my kind of what I'm inferring, is maybe February-ish, that she is healthy, as in she's back from her injury, but she is not up to full speed. She's still getting the practice reps and still getting all the way back into it. So they do expect her back mid-season. But for now, January, it should be a lot of fun because a lot of different people are getting a lot of different opportunities. And so anyway, with Neal and Kiko, Marissa and Kiko are kind of twins in that class. They came from elite. They both went through a lot of the same U.S. national camps and a lot of the domestic majors together. And so, for her, she kind of carried the torch with when Kiko went down late last year, and so she's carrying it a little bit longer until she gets back. So Neil, and then another veteran who's kind of expanding her area is Alex Irvine, who was a bar specialist last year, came from UCLA as a transfer. Really helped the bar lineup. Was a big for bars, but now here she is over here warming up floor. Here she is warming up beam. So we'll see. Let's. Hopefully, I'm not losing anybody. Let's just go to vault. Let's talk about vault. What can you expect for vault? First things first. I do think it's looking like a 10-0 lineup all the way down. Full scoring potential. Because Sophia Bell has upgraded, as we talked about, Sophia has upgraded her to the Yurchenko double. We should be seeing, my predictions. Sophia Bell throwing the Yurchenko double, and Paige Zancan throwing her unique vault, and then I believe everyone else is throwing a Yurchenko 1.5. So whoever starts will be 6 10-0 start value. Something to watch on vault. Besides Bell's double and Paige's awesome vault, which is back for another year. Something to watch for is between Mia Leverton, Emma Weary, and Jersey Woolsey. One of these three will be making their first Auburn start. So Emma Weary's an experienced transfer in. Jersey Woolsey's an experienced Auburn reserve, still looking to make her first start on vault. And Mia Leverton's a freshman. A late edition freshman who was added for Auburn, not in the early signing period, in the the late signing period, the regular in the summer. So a late edition freshman who was someone who in that freshman post we did, you'll see she was kind of reclassified from 2024 to 2025. She held back a year, got a Yurchenko 1.5, and then cleaned up at level 10, the level 10 circuit. So you can read about that, auburntorch.com. So, but vault, I'm not sure. We'll see. This is ABC order, by the way. If you're looking at this on the video, we are not sure what order they'll go in. I wonder if Bell will go early in the lineup with her double or not, because she's used to that place. We'll see, and we'll see who anchors, because the anchor is in all of these events, anchor is a pressure pack position. But bold prediction, it looks like, safe prediction, it looks like Auburn's gonna have a full start value, a fully loaded scoring potential, with Sophia having upgraded to the Yurchenko double. It could change. They could put a full later. I certainly, Jeff is no stranger to that. Jeff, when he's doing his strategy, there have been those years where he has a really solid full from Sophia growth who he wants to start things off on a good note with, or Sophia had a really solid full last year, and so, but the plan is for Sophia to do the double. That's the plan. That's what they're working on. So that'll be vault, and that'll be first on at home. That's the first rotation. At home, it'll be vault to bars to beam to floor for Auburn. So next they'll go to bars. Let's take a look at this bars lineup. Olivia Greaves is the standout here. She should be carrying the load, but here's another freshman. Here you go, Charlotte Booth. She's on 2 events to start with, which is close to what we predicted and what we wrote about, what we were saying going in. And then Alex Irvine is the returning vet. But then here you go, who we've talked about before, Marissa Neal and Julianne Huff. So it's a strong bars lineup to start with, and especially Charlotte. Even here on Torch Talk, we looked at a gold medal win for her on bars. And so we'll see. And then a couple, Bryn Bartman and Emma Grace Boyd are a couple bar specialists now. They're because it was them and Irvine, and now Irvine's kind of expanding her domain a little bit. So one of the things Jeff said, to use one of his phrases, and now, between Bryn and Emma Grace, those are two gymnasts who are, you know, full-time bars or close to it. This is their kind of spot. So they're really, that gives them, that makes them solid options. And especially, when some of the all-arounders might have to focus on something else. So we'll see about bars, but bars, I think, will be a really strong line. It looks like a very strong lineup for Auburn. Then we go over to beam, and beam's going to be fun too. Beam has Charlotte as well, right there. We'll see Olivia Greaves, who expanded into beam last year when needed. And now here she is as kind of the veteran, one of the centerpieces of this team. And Olivia can really Greaves. She can really. She really frees up. If she can take a lot of this kind of attention and take on kind of this role as a veteran, it really frees up some of these others like Julianne Hough, Marissa Neal. These are people who could be someone's centerpiece, would be someone's centerpiece, but they can kind of, operate in silence and kind of get comfortable, get even more comfortable. So, anyway, OG's taking on a big role this year. We will see. We will see Charlotte warm up. We could see her on beam. Olivia Ahern is another kind of like Julianne Hough, a highly rated recruit. Auburn's been able to Jeff's lately and has been able to just stack classes. And Ahern's another one who had a lot of level 10 success that they figure should translate. I'm interested when I look at this list too. I'm Emma Wary, a transfer in that she could make her Auburn debut here. And I really want to see Hannah Hagel step up and take that spot. And I really and who's interested in seeing Alex Irvine on beam after being kind of expand her role after being on bars all of last season. She only competed bars last season. And then floor, go to floor. A sneak peek at one of the burning questions is who closes floor, right? That's the grand finale, right? And especially, I feel like especially at Auburn. I know it's like that everywhere. I'm sure Jordan closes floor at UCLA, right? But especially, Darion kind of made that a thing when she was here. Especially at Auburn, I think people expect after Darion put on that kind of show that she did that floor anchor spot, it kind of holds some weight. So we'll see who that's going to be in that spot. I think Olivia Greaves is someone who could handle that pressure, but maybe you want someone like Julianne Hough or someone to really, or Sophia Bell to really channel those juices and really go for something big on floor at the end. We will see. But here's Irvine again. Here's Huff again. Hannah Hagel. It'd be really interesting to see her crack. And Olivia Ahern. Ahern again, very talented. A lot of talent. This looks like a good floor lineup. And really, Auburn has been consistent on floor. I think a lot of teams are consistent on floor. I think that's the event where, if you're on beam, it can go really bad. And if you're on vault, it can go really good. And floor is typically the most consistent, I think, for everybody. And this looks like a strong group. This looks like a strong group that can make it happen. So we will see. I know Jeff's really has said it'll be a lot of fun, kind of letting some different people go. And it's not just the freshmen. The freshmen are here. Obviously we may see Mia Leverton on vault. We may see Charlotte Booth in a couple spots. They're here, and newcomers are here. Emma Weary is around and could be in a lot of these. But what Jeff really wants to see is some of the veterans kind of plant a flag and take their place, and that would be Hannah Hagel. That would be Julianne Hough, even Ahern and Marissa Neal, just taking their spots. So we'll see what to watch for. Vault to set the tone. You want to see vault set a great tone to start. And then I'm curious about Beam has been so solid for so long with, Sophia Groth in the past, Gabby McLaughlin, even Olivia Hollingsworth before she got hurt. Those are three people who were just unbothered up there. And you can't take that for granted, right? Like, you got to have those people who are unbothered up there, right? And so that's one of the, I would say, I guess in gymnastics in general, like the fragile events, like you could lose a couple of real aces on that event and it could be a problem, right? So for Auburn, if they make this transition look easy, if they make it not a problem, if these kids step in and it is exactly the way it was or close to the way it was, that's a big accomplishment. That's a big deal. So, so yeah, in a way you're expecting Beam is a little bit of rebuild. The Beamers are in for a rebuild. And if that rebuild goes fast, then well done, right? That's just setting the pins and knocking them down. Like, that's just setting the expectation, and now we will see if they either reach that expectation or even supersede it. So we'll see. I wrote down 3 questions, and these are 3 in the follow-up story after tonight. I'm gonna kind of point out how they went. How these questions were answered. For one, I'm just going to single out Julianne Hough like I have. She's warming up the all-around. How many events can she get on, right? And that obviously that leads into other people. How many can Irvine get on? How many can Neil get on? How many are all these girls getting on? So, because I think expectation for me is for Olivia Greaves to go all around. So does Auburn have a second all-arounder in there? Obviously, Kiko's on the way. Is someone else stepping into all-around? Is Julianne stepping up in all-around? We will see. So I'm curious about that. And if not all-around, hey, 3 events is pretty good. How many events? Let's see. Another question. Does Alex Irvine get to expand her place and compete on any different events? So for her, that would be on floor and on beam. Does Alex Irvine get to, because she was an important part of the bar lineup, an important part of the squad, and we're about to see if she can help the team in some different ways. And as transferred from UCLA, and she's been one to watch ever since she got here. And then my last question, the burning question, is who is the leadoff on vault? Because that's very important, especially at home. At home it's your first. It's the first thing you do, and away bars is the first thing you do. But who is the first in the lineup on the first event? Who is that? Who sets the tone? Who can kind of get things going in the right direction for Auburn? Is that going to be Bell again? Is that who's that going to be? And then the second half of this question, who closes? We talked about already. Who closes floor? Who is in that kind of that marquee spot? To first of all, you kind of have to handle the pressure of all the Auburn fans who are expecting the grand finale, right? But also, you are going to be in close meets, and it doesn't matter until the postseason if you're winning or losing the meet. But you're going to be in the postseason. You could be in close meets where you need to be able to get that extra 10th. In order to lift your score and win. So it's who can accept the pressure and who can go into that spot. Hey, I'm excited about it. Let's go. I'll be there. We will see how they do, and we will answer some of these questions, and then we will move right along to the next meet. But for now, Auburn versus NC State tonight. It is on an SEC Network Plus stream. If you can't be there in Neville Arena, we will get this season started, and we'll see how it goes, all right? Take care, and if you're there, we will see you there.